Alongside the Thomas content menagerie, I also dabbled into obscure topics into the more general sector of animation. For at least 2 times. I did videos on those I found interesting enough to cover, and I figured I would give a third shot at this niche. For very specific reasons, I decided to revisit some fixation of mine that isn't a decade and a half old. Unless you haven't seen the post-credits bit of my last video, I think it's finally time to talk about it.
Who knows what really...
Glitchtex! That recent Nickelodeon show, and by recent I mean 2020, which was 5 years ago, about the life and times of 2 teenage gamers who work at a secret task force to take out and capture real-life manifestations of video game characters coming from Glitchtex.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Despite gaining a decent ton of positive reviews and internet attention when Nick dumped it as a Netflix exclusive back in 2020, it only lasted less than a year. Ever since, I've seen this show being discussed as a frequent answer to posts regarding cancelled cartoons. This sounds ridiculous, but blame Vilskabum94 of old Gravity Falls fandom theory fame for getting me into Glitchtex. Because when he first discussed its announcement back in 2017, I was excited! And then bummed when the show was reported to have been dissolved before it even came out. For a year, I forgot that thing even existed until one day I was scrolling through Netflix and found this. Out of curiosity, I watched the 2 batches of episode releases when they premiered, so I ended up getting hooked. After 2020, I still rewatched Glitchtex from time to time, but I didn't bother looking further into it even after knowing it got sniped by Nickelodeon to say the least. That was until my latest rewatch weeks before making this video. Dang it, I'm sorry this video took so long. And after conducting research on production tidbits alongside getting in contact with Glitchtex fan game developer Seeking the Sky for quality control and accuracy, this show is quite the dungeon of details only serious cartoon reviewers could find. Fun fact, this video almost got made for Season 1 and Season 2 of Wax World, but the Mega Machines and Tobot videos were made in Glitchtex's place due to lack of motivation or interest on my behalf. Or laziness for that matter, but you get the gist. But with the current state of the animation industry, with many more shows getting the axe faster than a Mario 64 speedruns, I decided now is better late than never. So, guys, let's get wacky. So let's jump straight into Glitchtex level by level within the code and the game stuff. Are these pun transitions even working anymore? I figure we should start with an unlikely place in Glitchtex development. Yeah, every early cartoon YouTuber and reception wiki's worst nightmare. Or at least not that much to me. Fanboy and Chum Chum, this stupid Nicktoon comedy about 2 kids in super suits doing random hijinks. Even with its ridiculous nature, it wasn't that bad, but that's another story down the road. Our story today focuses on that hated show's creator, Eric Robles. A Hispanic animator formerly working at DreamWorks, Cartoon Network, and Disney, Robles moved to Nickelodeon, in which he was given an opportunity to pitch a short to become a full show, a show primarily inspired by his childhood experiences. After FBACC ended on 2 seasons with 90 episodes, Eric would pitch another idea soon after to Nickelodeon for a future project. Teaming up with Robot Chicken writer and director Dan Milano, Eric and Dan would share their interests with each other to form blueprints for a future TV pitch. The main idea blossomed from the two's fondness for the original Ghostbusters movies and cartoon, with Milano apparently writing Ghostbusters fanfiction back in high school. With the 2 geniuses pooling this and their other interests together, from Men in Black to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World to Gurren Lagann to, of course, video games, the final idea for their pitch would spawn, and thus Glitchtex was born. The show would go through several different art styles, such as this one, which I'm glad wasn't used, otherwise people would compare this Nick show to Gravity Falls based on the premise and art direction accused of it being a ripoff. Oh wait, another version of the show containing much more progress had visuals closer to Fanboy and Chum Chum, with much younger versions of the duo we know today as Five and Miko. A pilot would be made with this version of the show in mind, link is in the description, which featured the duo's hijinks with their robot, a large Baymax-styled mech before being redesigned much later into a more unique-looking floating console drone. I am glad this version was also scrapped because despite interesting concept art, it probably would have blended in visually with Fanboy and Chum Chum or other buddy comedies such as the Just As Beloved Breadwinners, oh boy! For example, there was a rival character in this version of the show, Mitch Williams, who frankly looked like this. And then he'd be given a massive glow up for the final show, which while still dickish looking, it emphasizes more of his professionalism above the two main characters. More Tumblr sexy man snark machine, and the less child-hating incel who screams on Fortnite servers with voice chat at 3 in the morning. I am not sure when it went from this to this, but given production material, it was somewhere around 2016 or 17, thus landing on the art style we all know and love. Several test animations from different animation studios would be used for pitching until Robles and Milano landed on Flying Bark, an Australian animation studio known now for their work on Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur or Lego's Monkey Kid. However, what landed them into this job was their current project with Nickelodeon, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a solid reboot in a line of a lot of solid reboots, praised for its stylish animation and character designs. Their current deal with Rise would give Robles and Milano access to Flying Bark, including Top Draw Animation, a studio based in my good old home of the Philippines, to assist with the overall production process on an animation style consisting of traditional and rigged animation built in Toon Boom harmony. The overall final look, style, and aesthetic would fall into place with several members joining the crew. Bringing up the aforementioned Rise of the TMNT, director and storyboarder JJ Conway would join as one of GlitchTech's main storyboard artists. Ian Graham, storyboard artist and director who previously worked on Nick's older character-driven action cartoon, Avatar: The Last Airbender, alongside its sequel, would become the show's director and supervising producer. Interestingly and shockingly, James Farr, the Transformers guy, would help out with GlitchTech's motion graphics. Onto the OST, a name more famous for composing Disney cartoons like Gravity Falls, The Owl House, or Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Brad Breeck, who previously worked with Eric Robles on Fanboy and Chum Chum's music, would compose for his newest show. Voice talent would soon be gathered, with Ricardo Hurtado and Monica Ray lending their roles to the Five and Miko previously discussed. The show's first season would be completed around late 2018. For very specific reasons I'll get into later on, the entire 20-episode first season, alongside an extra batch of 10 commissioned episodes for Season 2, to just sit on Nickelodeon servers for the time being. Soon, streaming service juggernaut Netflix would then partner with Nickelodeon for a deal to stream exclusive content. As such, GlitchTech would debut on their platform as Nickelodeon's second planned cartoon to launch on streaming. As Pinky Malinky, some Nicktoon comedy that I did not watch for this video unfortunately, got the same Netflix treatment first. Like I described a certain horrible Netflix train show, GlitchTech would be released in batches too, from its initial first season order of 20 episodes. Split into 10 per batch, with the first 2 episodes being combined into one. The first half would be released as Season 1 on February 21st, while Season 2 would be released on August 17th, both in 2020. Though much like Tobot, I have to explain how the episodes are released for the sake of discussion, except GlitchTech has a more confusing release schedule, not involving labeling story arcs as seasons. While Tobot was aired in order, the 2 batches for GlitchTech were mixed up for some reason, leading to certain designs and arcs being out of place if watched in Netflix order. So for this video, I will use this intended sequencing, made using production codes dug up by fans. Now the development has been discussed, let's finally jump into the show proper, starting with... oh yeah, the animation. On to a less important but fundamentally big part of the show for starters. Holy shoot, I love the animation! Even though I discussed the animation in my other cartoon videos, I think one thing I overlooked is the general art direction and aesthetic. Compared to other cartoons released around a similar time period, Glitch Text feels visually distinct, given stuff Flying Bark worked on before and since. For one, the character designs managed to look pretty stylish and recognizable, without looking either too ugly, too over-designed, or too generic. All the backgrounds are aesthetically pleasing. Despite using lineless shapes and geometry, most if not all of the backgrounds are just very pretty to look at. There's a lot going on in some, but they all end up cohesive. While on paper these factors sound extremely mundane, the actual execution of these ideas, combined with the already top-notch animation, is worth it. Knowing Flying Bark's portfolio, they were the right choice for the Glitch Text job. The characters are expressive, even in more subdued scenes, so in either that, or the copious amount of well-directed action scenes, the show remains consistently expressive, regardless of complexity. These are the key aspects people gush about this show, but what about the characters and writing? Are they any good? Obviously, the animation is good, but I think the characters and their dynamics are the pure, let's say, code of the show. To spotlight the main duo, first we have Hector Nieves, or Five as he tends to nickname himself, a dreaming gamer who lives and helps with his grandparents at their Asian Mexican food truck. An invite to a video game championship at this local Hinobi store would lead him straight to Miko Kubota, a more rambunctious teen who shares his interest in gaming, even though her parents are not super enthusiastic about this. Unfortunately, a glitch manifestation at the tourney caused the bystanders' memories, including Five's, to be wiped for the sake of usual glitch tech damage control of keeping the glitch protocol a secret. Due to Miko being at a different venue for the tournament, i.e. her house, the girl getting blasted into the back of her room would cause the impact causing the memory wipe to fail. Thus, she would rope Five into her discovery, and for the sake of keeping events under wraps, staff would make them the newest recruits of the Glitch Techs, the Hinobi Video Game Corporation's secret agency that captures any glitch entities that could emerge from their tech or video games that have gone haywire. The rough start leads to a friendship around contrasting personalities, like Five is the more intelligent of the duo, a skilled game master, if you will, caring for others despite impulsively overthinking. Miko, admittedly, is way more skilled, from violent combat styles and more thorough gaming experience, though she's much more absent-minded and reckless, constantly gawking at nerdy stuff like the average ADHD-filled gamer. Side note, I just realized this upon doing research. Miko is canonically diagnosed with ADHD, so as a dude with that condition, I give her my seal of approval. While not as smart, Miko's enthusiasm for the glitch tech job and her enthusiasm for Five's interest is what keeps them together, constantly looking out for each other, even if they disagree. The contrasting but caring dynamic is what I like the most about this show. Like, I know Nickelodeon since the 2010s is constantly trying and failing to make shows that emulate SpongeBob's contrasting duo dynamic. For a relevant example, on Fanboy and Chum Chum, has a similar dynamic of the two nerdy kid characters, with both being stupid, but one clearly being dumber than the other. The characters on Fanboy are much more static and frankly don't have a lot of depth. That was a more episodic show, but I think Glitch Tech's having a more serialized structure is why I found its duo to feel genuine. It's not like Five or Miko are exclusively the smart or dumb ones. They have pros, cons, shared interests, and specific weaknesses. And as such, I feel like the two are pretty relatable, as someone who plays video games and just glosses over nerd stuff a lot. So they are believable. Like, I know I went over 5 being the intelligent guy, but there are several episodes where their friendship is challenged, and Miko ends up being the voice of reason over her friend getting too cocky. For instance, the episode Alpha Leader is a neat showcase of 5's superiority over Miko, getting the best of him and fueling his ego, purely on the account of trying to one-up another top tech in his absence, while ending up becoming like that guy. Oh wait, I have to talk about him now. Introducing Mitch Williams, the top-level glitch tech and Hinobi champion who constantly antagonizes the two, with his blunt sarcasm and intimidating prowess. Being well-versed in the glitch tech job is what gives Mitch the absolute ego to put himself above others, or noobs as he says. Even when knowing that, shockingly, I know some people hate this guy for being a dick, but Mitch's attitude is somehow why I like this guy. Other than antagonizing our main duo, his antagonistic nature is justified when you think about the show's story deeper. Like, we know 5 won the tournament in the pilot, and Mitch used the memory wipe on him not just for the glitch protocol, but to take that record for himself. Sounds petty, I know, but him hating Miko? I guess he is justified since I can imagine the dude being threatened by this mind-wiped immune goofball whose goofiness could slip out secrets and, well, expose the whole Hinobi glitch situation. What I like the most about Mitch, especially knowing the original episode order, is that by the end of the existing run, he progresses in his character. I'm Mitch Williams, which was intended to be the season finale, reveals that he neglected his siblings once he got self-absorbed around the glitch tech job, but humbles as he learns to cooperate with both the main duo and his siblings. So when we get to its intended following episode, The Real Glitch Techs, he's seen working together with 5 and Miko, but his strictness towards 5 specifically instead transpires from protection, protecting the rookie from a rival branch's glitch tech team. There are other characters I could gloss over, like Phil, the team's bored as heck manager, or even the other operatives like Zara, Hanish, or Bergie. And yeah, they're fun characters, but I don't have too much to say that's super important. But what's important is how everyone's personalities impact the writing of the show. Glitch Techs is an episodic Monster of the Week show. And I don't mean in the same way some specific shows do in having very basic characters on top of forgettable or cringy dialogue to drive the action. So instead, we have a character-driven show that supports the already great action. Like similar cartoons in that niche, I think it just comes down to the writing and how they make the interactions feel genuine. Like I said about 5 and Miko's friendship, the core of the show is not the fighting or the lore, it's instead the characters and seeing them grow. Their friendship is tested throughout, with either friend being the voice of reason or the troublesome liability. Yet, both still manage to overcome whatever video game references thrown in that episode. Oh yeah, the show's about video games, I forgot about that. Each episode is about fighting whatever video game glitch manifests that day. Yeah, in a nutshell, imagine Ghostbusters! If the ghosts were like that one Ryu parody from Gravity Falls, or the aliens from that one Adam Sandler movie where Hubert becomes a hot woman and then has kids with Josh. It's the tech's everyday job. And even though the episodes focus on any sort of video game reference, whether it be Overwatch, Pong, Pokemon, Street Fighter, Castlevania, etc., I don't think the references have to define the episode, because they work pretty well even without knowledge on a lot of these things. Like, there's an episode called Castle Crawl, focusing on not just providing a good chunk of fan service for Castlevania aficionados, it's a good showcase of the two main characters, displaying 5 and Miko's methods of response to a given situation. 5 is more casual and focuses on trying to obtain what he finds useful by thinking of what to do, while Miko here brute forces her way into the game with her dumb luck and dumb head first, only for the climax to show she never beat the game herself prior. Another good example is an episode more relevant to my channel, and by relevant I mean one video that I'm not too proud of myself even though I know it's my first video. And this ain't like the Gravity Falls episode where it had evil animatronics made before FNAF existed, which fittingly was caused by a rogue video game character. No. The Glitch Techs episode, Ralphie Bear is Back, is a direct Five Nights at Freddy's homage. Other than having Five and Miko deal with a rogue, glitch-possessed animatronic on the loose, involving security cameras, and using a mascot head to get by facial recognition, it's somehow another good episode showing the two's dynamic. Miss Ralphie Bear was a beloved mascot that got decked in the head by Miko during her childhood. The incident she held behind her back after knowing Five loved the restaurant as a kid and got sad when he couldn't have a birthday due to that event. Miko shows both regret and embarrassment for an incident she knew meant more to others involved. As someone who had a fear of mascots when I was a toddler for like a few months, the idea of being spooked leading to an incident like this could be justified, though I have zero real-life experience of seeing a kid destroy an animatronic's head, or the other way around. While people can talk about the lore and the world building of the show, I think these two stories at their core are the best example of what glitch text is to me. It's not just parodying something like the Robot Bear's funny mascot horror game with the man behind the slaughter tears gush over. It's developing these two characters and their relations with other individuals. I mean, I'm fine with cartoons with excessive lore, and this was only intended to be the first season after all. But I think the more character-driven approach was the right call before potentially descending into so much more world building. For something with 20 episodes in a show not planned to have that number, Glitchtex did a solid job at establishing its world in such a short amount of time. You have the Hinobi Corporation, a gigantic video game development brand whose consoles and electronics are a gigantic lawsuit waiting to happen. Good thing their team of techno Ghostbusters are here, whose name I already forgot, have the glorified power gloves with their built-in Men in Black brain erase powers. I want to comment on how creative the job system is. Like, Miko and Five aren't just hunting video game characters for a quick buck or paycheck. No. Their life is like a video game. The experience points gained from fighting can give Tex access to weapon upgrades or merchandise. And maybe money. I don't know, man, I haven't worked an actual job myself. As with the Ghostbusters inspiration, they have their team uniform and marketable vehicle, but the sci-fi agent approach gives these cliched elements a fresh look. Like, the suits aren't just work clothes, they're like high-tech power armor that manifests on them. Like that one tokusatsu about rangers in powerful spandex, or the rider of the common variety. The main Hinobi store HQ is packed with features, including but not limited to a holodeck-style smart room, archives of every game Hinobi ever made or published, a companion pet training facility, lounges, an XP station, and more. The aforementioned companion pet facility ended up leaving Five with a humble mech named Alpha, and Miko with a tiny chocobo-ish bird, who she dubbed Ali.
Stupid bird.
The companion characters existing leads to not every glitch being purely aggressive. In fact, glitches aren't just digital characters in real life. They can also manifest as causing an entire location to become a video game level or possess a human host to make them the character. Outside the staff within the protagonist's hometown branch, there is another group of techs antagonizing the main gang. Led by a woman voiced by Jane Dynamite Gal Lynch, the Dabney techs are more skilled and aggressive than the main team, with constant bickering and competition between the two. In the 2 episodes they do have, it's very frustrating a ton of potential world-expanding ideas weren't touched much. Ridley, a hacker who specializes in modding glitches, is another example of concepts that were handled great but deserved more. I like how she played a part in bringing out Mitch's lighter side, as Mitch keeps Ridley's memories when commanded to erase all tech-related events following an incident. But that's it. Even outside of character stuff, the versatile world building of the video game idea opens so many possibilities for potential episode concepts around games or game genres. Stuff like Animal Crossing, Doom, Mario Kart, Persona, Red Dead Redemption, freaking Minecraft, for all we know. And if you think about it, this one season barely scratched the surface of what glitch text could accomplish with just the gaming Ghostbusters concept alone. If Hinobi is this massive PlayStation or Nintendo surrogate with worldwide success, would there be glitch tech operators across the globe? Are there More people like Ridley who are trying to weaponize and tinker with these digital characters that we aren't aware of? Are governments aware of this whole fiasco? And the biggest question of all, what exactly was in the code to create these glitches in the first place? Unfortunately, the world may never know. After 2 batch dumps on Netflix, activity on glitch techs would pretty much cease. Production froze prior, roughly around late 2018 to early 2019. Around the same time, Nickelodeon went through restructuring, following Saima Zarghami's departure as CEO in 2018, with Brian Robbins filling her spot. While it was never confirmed why glitch techs got cancelled, the most popular theory, given the dates lining up, is that glitch techs got lost in the shuffle between CEOs changing and new management not wanting it for either brand recognition or budget issues. Given glitch techs was much more expensive compared to other Nickelodeon shows running around the same time of its production, that's kind of a valid reason. And why Nickelodeon got Netflix to handle glitch techs distribution and release themselves, only for Netflix to just not do much with it. Thus leaving plans for a full second season, starting with a batch of 10 episodes commissioned to be unfinished. And it's not a Motor City situation where the second season barely made it past the planning phase. The Glitch Techs crew did plan a second season, but also fully wrote, storyboarded, and voice acted the entire thing. Several animatics were made suggesting these episodes were either halfway or almost complete save for the animation. The episodes uncovered by Seeking the Sky and many others include Food Feud, Affection Gain, Return to Castlestein, Tower Defensive, Avatar The Last Glitch Tech, Mobs and Minions, Five's Gauntlet, GMNT, Bit 2.0, and Bolivius. One of the episodes that caught my eye was a Phil-centric episode called Avatar The Last Glitch Tech. A virtual reality focused episode focusing on a character that wasn't really pushed much into a lead role. And despite the title referencing the bald kid who does elements, it would have involved some sort of VR chat type game about said avatar controlling Phil. 2 featured episodes planned, namely Five's Gauntlet and Bolivius, seem to have Ridley as a big part of those stories. A character who I wanted and deserved to see more content out of. With the latter episode fittingly all about and homaging one of the most popular video game myths known to man. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover was also planned. And I don't mean like a crossover with the most recent series at the time. It was about a fictional in-universe Skylanders parody about the TMNT. A Toys to Life game that went berserk alongside Kevin Eastman, one of the original minds behind the franchise in the first place, voicing the Shredder in that episode. I want to thank the aforementioned Seeking the Sky for helping me find out about these concepts left on the cutting room floor, because other than the plethora of production material, concept art, and character designs sent over, seeing all of this stuff on the Mega Drive files he sent, it makes me kinda sad. Because it practically was almost finished, and somehow 2 episodes from that season order slipped through the cracks on Netflix. The episodes, The Real Glitch Techs, and Settling the Score, were discovered to have been for Season 2 due to their 201 and 205 production codes. So that makes 2 episodes from Season 1's original order, 112 and 118, to be lost. They recently have been identified to be Food Feud and Bolivius, though now knowing this, it supposedly explains why Mitch in episodes ordered after Bolivius has a different haircut and a leveled up suit. And in one of the many creator Q&As on YouTube, they did mention there was an episode explaining why Mitch leveled up,
where there's a design change that Mitch has in the towards the end of season 2. I think it's episode 7, the Real Glitch Techs, where we first see it. And I can't remember if it was Eric or Dan, but one of you had mentioned that there was originally going to be an episode surrounding the change that influences that design change. but the weird production cycle that Glitch Texas went on kind of got in the way of that.
An episode that never aired, but by deductive reasoning, Bolivius was most likely that one. Other than describing Nick shooting it down, I guess you can argue Netflix is also to blame. Yes, Glitch Text isn't a top priority cartoon for the service compared to a much more grandiose show like Arcane. But I think Nickelodeon should have done more of the heavy lifting, cause compared to a lot of other original Nicktoons from the period of its development, I think Glitch Text could have been the next big thing for Nickelodeon. I get Glitch Text isn't their first original flop. I am aware people say that Nick usually tosses away shows that aren't immediate hits, even if they end up as cult hits today. But I think it's a worse situation now because I don't think Nick is as interested now in making original shows compared to before. Yes, Nick did some legacy IP projects in the early 2010s like The Legend of Korra or Planet Sheen, but I'd argue they at least tried to promote the original stuff more around that time, even when most were just plain terrible. Though now it's mostly spin-offs, reboots, or sequels of stuff they have in-house or own the rights to within the first 5 years of the 2020s. I get you have to make money and whatever exists will sell better than purely fresh stuff, but I think they're taking less risks with giving their originals a shot, since some of the other new Nicktoons aside from Glitch Text, like It's Pony or Rock Paper Scissors, I thought they were pretty solid. Not Glitch Text good, but I thought they were neat. And yeah, I dig the new Transformers and TMNT shows and movies coming out recently from them. And the new Fairly Odd Parents sequel was a breath of fresh air from the mediocrity the original settled into. But I think prioritizing both new and old audiences would be more beneficial to keeping audience engagement intact. Otherwise, you'd just bore people out. And as much as I want to delve more into why Glitch Text deserve better, you know, the past is in the past and we can't do anything about it. But, you know, it's still worth checking out. But why is that? Glitch Text is a pretty good Nicktoon that, while seeming like a gamer's pop culture cavalcade at first glance, it's actually more than what it is on the outside in being a fun show with likable characters. Compared to the other two obscure actiony kids shows I covered, it's not super deep thematically. Like, you're not getting some insight into a broken society fueled by greed over power and how different people take up the responsibility in a dying city, or a somber but hopeful take on a man and machine bond with the humans and robots learning or understanding loss, love, grief, and friendship. Instead, you get a show about the growing friendship between two flawed yet passionate individuals seen as lesser to the average Joe. But I'm okay with that. Even if Tobot and Motor City had much more fascinating production histories than Glitch Text, I think this show is the most relatable and grounded thematically. Seeing myself in both Five and Miko's personalities and interests, plus finding out about Robo's long journey developing this show, felt wholesome to me. And even if his passion project is just dead by now, I think Glitch Text is still worth checking out. Whether you are a video game or animation fan looking for something new to kill time, or a Nickelodeon fan tired of other Nickelodeon fans rambling about whatever bad SpongeBob or Loud House project that came out this week, I think Glitch Text can connect to you too. One thing I myself learned from researching the development and gathering its production story was knowing you have to make something distinctly you if you want to stand out in the industry. Tell a story that means something to you, and if people want to shut it down, just know it's worth telling for the many others wanting something they can see themselves in. And with the credits about to roll, this has been Waxter. Like, comment, subscribe, and ring for more. And most importantly of all, stay wacky! Finally, I can work on another Thomas fandom thing now. What was it, the City Trams video?
Hello Wax World. Finally finished that belated video of yours.
Oh wait, you again. I did the glitch text video to satisfy myself now, so I think you should be happy.
I have a new request for you after the City Trams video releases. Wait patiently.
Oh come on!